Hey everybody, happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
And it is a beautiful Friday. The weather here, I cannot believe how nice it has been. And we're supposed to go through more warming trends here for the next, 5 or 10 days, which is crazy because we're in the coldest part of the year for us
This has
typically.
been
Last
the
week,
warmest
yeah,
winter I can remember.
we got one snowstorm,
It was
right?
it was a lot of snow.
Yeah, but we got one.
I think we've got more than one.
Well,
We got a few dustings,
yeah, I'm not talking about dusting. I'm talking about where something sticks and,
and we had to plow.
yeah,
Yeah, we got one good one.
which is insane. But it has been absolutely beautiful. And then it brings on that urge to get out in the gardens,
Yep.
right? And to get planting. But as a good buddy of mine said, don't get fooled. Don't get fooled. You know,
I do have some seeds I want to go spread.
we have second winter coming.
Yeah,
So all those efforts of writing "winter's coming" on the back of people's cars that I always do. Apparently, I'm
it's
full of it.
coming. It's
Right?
coming.
Yeah. Let's get some hellos in. How's that sound? Lisa, welcome in. Says happy Friday the 13th. Oh, I guess I can just put it up there, huh? Happy Friday the 13th, everyone. I sure hope no one in this group is superstitious. I always used to say Friday the 13th was great for me because there wasn't enough bad luck to go around for me. I love that. Carrie Davis, welcome in. The king himself, Jeff Juicy, Hefty, Lefty, Amazon Mud Dugger, Slick Phyllis is in the house tonight. We have American Roots Farm, and speaking of them, they've started doing a live on Sunday nights.
Oh,
So if you guys are interested, go over there and check them out. And they've got a great story. And they're a year and a half into their homesteading journey, and so they're at a place that a lot of you guys will relate to. So anyway, go check them out. Let's see here, Kent. Hello, hello, welcome in. We have been enjoying the weather. My good buddy Mo, how are you, my friend? Let's see here. America Root says it felt like spring. It has felt like spring. Gratitude to Grace. How are my friends? Says hello, Freedom Friends. So happy to be here. We're happy you're here. Off Grid Nitos. How are you? No lives complete.
without a pack rat.
That's a fact. The beautiful Louise. I've gotten a lot better at
Yes.
that, haven't I?
Yes.
You proud of me?
Yes.
Okay. Louise Wesley's
Louise.
in the house. Paula and Kent are here. Yeah. Says East Tennessee, and we are preparing our garden. We are praying the groundhog is wrong. Yeah. I want to get in the garden bad, but it's around here. That's a dangerous game this early. It's really early. So let's see here. Squatch A. How are you, my friend? Thistle Creek's in the house. Good to see you. The greatest name on the internet
Half bubble up them.
is in the house. Lisa Marie is here. ACM Homestead. Adam and Cindy, good to see you. The citizen broadcaster herself, Royalty, is in the house. Good to see you. She plays a big important role, man. I'm telling you, without every
Yeah.
single Monday, she's standing there filming the commissioners
Yeah.
and filming what goes on, and that is a
Big
huge
deal.
that is a huge deal.
Yes.
Dana Green, good to see you. Can Squatch, welcome in. Ryan the Matador, hello, hello. Says hello everyone. Hope you all are well. I got married on Friday the 13th, 19 years ago, and still happy. Seems like a pretty lucky day for me. Okay, I got so many questions. So, did your wife put up any fight to being married on Friday the 13th? Would you have put up a fight?
No.
You wouldn't have?
No.
Okay. Maybe I'm weird.
Are you superstitious?
No, but I could just
Do you think
see.
it's like a bad omen?
Yeah, I could see a girl, specifically a girl going, no, 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 that's a bad omen. I guess really even a guy would say that maybe. Gratitude to Grace says, got some grow mix soil from our local nursery today for the planting beds we made last fall. Got one filled, second one tomorrow, and another load next week.
Nice.
We are filling it for sure. Skeins girl, welcome in, bud. I would normally ask you if you're warm, but I already know the answer to that
She's
now.
probably warm.
Yeah. RN, welcome in. So,
She's probably really loving this weather.
how are your animals doing?
They're doing fine.
They loving the weather?
Yeah.
I seen one of your baby cows. Its wiener got knocked off its nose.
Yeah. I found it in the yard. I'm not sure how that happened. When I was trying to get it off, I couldn't get it off, and then now he got it off on his own.
Mm.
So I can give that back to Louise. Yeah, Louise, he got his wiener off.
Yeah.
It was the green Moose baby, the green one. The one that we couldn't get on because it was so tough. He wiggled out of it. It's not broken at all.
Yeah.
He just wiggled right out of it.
We've got some infrastructure work to do in the spring, and I'm kind of glad that I don't have any buildings to build this year because those take so much time
Yeah.
that I can focus a lot on fencing and gates and a lot of that kind of stuff. Maybe just to slow down just a tad bit.
Buckling up some other things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be really, really good.
Yeah, that would be great.
Edward Braden's in the house. Good to see you. And Ryan says, Courtney is here and says, nope, she felt no bad omens for the 13th. Cool. Unique Prepping. Zach, how you doing, buddy? There's a very,
Hello.
very unique YouTube channel about prepping. You guys should go check out if you have not.
Mhm.
Let's see here. Packrat says, found the wiener off in the yard. We can keep this conversation going for another live. Yep, that's right. Yeah, we spent a good amount of time last week talking about the cow wieners, but
Yeah, it took like 6 of us to get it on there in just one afternoon, and he got it off.
hey, look at that. Amy B says, I was born on Friday the 13th.
Yeah, beautiful. Another day.
Yep, another day. But anyway, I could see someone saying, oh, I can't. There's somebody in this audience who did not want to move to an address because of the numbers on the address, because it was superstitious.
Superstitious.
Remember?
Yep.
Anyway, what do you have you'd like to talk about today, beautiful? Besides tomorrow's Valentine's Day?
Valentine's Day is tomorrow. Yep. We've got President's Day on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
I've just been doing normal, daily living stuff. I've been caulking and painting and priming
I built a bed.
furniture. A desk. I've been working on the desk
Mm-hmm.
and painting it white to match all the other, built-ins. And then, so he goes and he puts them together in the shop, and then he brings them in pieces. And then I go through and caulk all the seams and all the little nail holes, and then prime and paint them. And then he takes them and puts them all together. And then I go back through and
Clean it up.
caulk and prime and paint them. No, not prime it, just paint it. I got this like cut on my web of my thumb right here, and it has been like, I don't know how I did
You guys
it.
see how little it is?
It's so tiny, but it's so bothersome because every time you open up your hand, that web just splits open. And so I'm trying to like keep my palm together. Yeah, he's like, that's nothing. Look. He's like, look, I put the drill through my hand. Where's it at? That one?
Mm-hmm.
See it? He's like, look how big mine is. I'm like,
Busted. Busted.
he did not turn his ringer off.
Oh my goodness.
Every live, like so far I have said, is your ringer off? And he goes, yep.
It is
That's
now.
funny. Busted.
Yeah, and my buddy Matt. Let's see here. Where am I at here? I am going to take cattails off the ice and listen along. Hope I don't fall through. Yeah, please don't fall through. Ivy.
Yeah, isn't it warm
Yep.
up there? Where are you?
I wasn't going to say who it was, Jess, but since you busted yourself, she said, I am not moving to a house that has 666 in the address.
Yes. What's your house? 666 Maine. What? Yeah,
Yep.
no kidding.
Let's see here. Amy B says, set quail eggs to hatch and bred 2 doe rabbits. Love is in the air. It's Valentine's Day, right? Get all those animals out there breeding. Let's see here. Nito said, funny story. My mother went into labor with my youngest sister on April 1st. Dad told her, oh no, you don't wait.
Wait
Oh
until
no,
after
you
midnight.
don't wait till after midnight. Yeah. Yeah, let's see here. Comparing boo-hoos is a sign of progress. I'm not comparing no boo-hoos.
No, I was the one complaining.
Let's talk about what's going on around our world. Share some stuff, you guys. So there's some cool stuff going on in Kansas. Kansas lawmakers are looking to increase penalties for those caught stealing livestock. This has become a bigger and bigger thing around here. And, when I first moved to this area, you never even heard about it. But it seems like every year there's a couple times I'm hearing some farmer got a cow stolen or a horse stolen, or typically it's cows.
Yeah, well, we've had hay bales, ladders.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I've had hay stolen off my farm because it was on the far end of the field and where I can't, look at it. And, but we had them stolen.
Yeah.
What else? I found this article interesting. KAKE News here in Kansas said if you live in Kansas, a new comparative study says that you have a 1 in 97 chance of being abducted by aliens. The only reason I put this slide in here is because it seems to me there's just been, like, they've really been working hard on normalizing aliens. Have you noticed that?
It's more than 1% chance now.
Yeah. Yeah, and then something that kind of irritated me just a little bit was that also Kansas is installing Charlie Kirk Free Speech Day on October the 14th, and I'm not opposed to it because of Charlie or any of those kind of things, but we have free speech every day. You know, like I don't like that they try to say, okay, here's a day you get to do it, because
you have free speech.
Well, our rights don't come from them.
Right.
But you know, and so any push against them, I'm typically going to resist. ACM Home says it's not bad, Jess. Just looks haunted. Very small world. Let's see here. What she said. Sorry, Skane's girl. I'm sorry. Skane's girl says that really hurts and hard to heal. Oh, in the hand. Yeah. It's a pain in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Edward says, picked up my Yukon Gold seed potatoes, and tomorrow I pick up my new LGD puppy. Awesome.
Oh.
Where'd you get your potatoes from? And what kind of LGD puppy?
I like Yukon Gold.
Yeah. My house in Pagosa was evil. One morning we woke up and the dad's business phone had sixes across the screen. I grew up in a place around Castle Rock, Colorado. I don't know how many people know that, but you can drive up in Castle Rock up into the mountains and up. I think it's up by Rampart Range if I remember right. But anyway, you can drive up there and there's a temple up there called Shambhala, and it's got a big lit up pentagram on it. And so when we were kids, we would always drive up there and scare ourselves to drive back down the mountain. And it was a great place to take a date because it wasn't long and they were close to you.
Oh my gosh.
They were scared. Let's see here. Gary Davis said it started
Cheater.
with The Wizard of Oz, right? It did. Hey, Rabid Coyote, what's going on? Welcome in. Let's see here. Kansas Senate introduces bills to eliminate property taxes by 2028. I thought I would read this to you guys, just so you could see what they're talking about. So, property tax relief has been a big topic this legislative session, and a resolution introduced this week in the Kansas Senate would amend a part of the Constitution to essentially end property tax. The bill says that no property in the state shall be subject to property tax after December 31st, 2027. An accompanying bill would enact the Kansas Property Tax Freedom Act, which would create a phased elimination of property tax. New surcharge would replace property tax revenue. The Kansas Property Tax Freedom Act would also create what's called the Kansas Fair Share Purchased Surcharge that would start next January. So this is really, really interesting. So the new surcharge would start in January of 2027, right? But the sales tax wouldn't be phased out until December of 2027, just so we're all on the same page.
Double tax.
Right. The surcharge would be added to every retail purchase in the state.
Every retail purchase.
Yeah. So what they're basically talking about is a consumption tax or another, a sales tax, right? So they're going to make it up, which by the way, if I had to pick between the two, I'd rather pay the sales tax than the property tax. Because at least in the sales tax, I have a choice.
Whether you buy the tomato or
I
grow the
don't.
tomato.
Right. Or I buy whatever or I don't buy whatever. In
Right.
property tax, I have no choice. Right. If that purchase is more than, this is, again, let me go back. The surcharge will be added to every retail purchase in the state of Kansas. If that purchase is more than $20, a flat surcharge of $1.60 per transaction would be added. If it's less than $20, the surcharge would be 7.6% of the purchase price. There would be some exemptions, such as groceries. These two measures were just introduced on Thursday and referred to Senate committee on Friday. So I think there's zero chance this happens. I would welcome it, but I think there's zero chance. The bill says no property no property in the state of Kansas shall be subject to property tax after December 31st, 2027. And an accompanying bill, I already read you that. Let me see here. Yeah, I already read you all that stuff. So anyway, I hope this works out. I'm proud that Kansas is a state that's at least doing something about it. Hard to say, whether it will come to be. Edward says Baumgart's has potatoes and I'm getting a Great Pyrenees. Last I checked, he still had 4 left. Yeah, I've got 2 now. I was just curious what kind you had. And, ours are great.
Ours aren't Great Pyrenees.
No, ours are Anatolian and Akbash. Love Runs Rapid, welcome in. And Jane Marie, welcome in. Amy B says Ohio has property tax elimination possibly coming up. The governor warned that sales tax could soar to 20% to make up the difference. I'm fine with that. Again, because at least then you have a choice, right? I mean, there's things, and I think the other thing you'd have a side effect of this too is it would put more people in a position to grow their own food, which is better and healthier, right? It would put people in more position to build for themselves and to learn those skills, right? Because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Right, at the end of the day. And so you would actually build the resiliency of the population by this better than you would from property tax. So I don't want it to go up 20%, but if you're going to make me choose between property tax and sales tax at 20%, I'll take the sales tax.
Yeah, you're starting to reuse your tinfoil.
Yeah, right. You ever reuse your tinfoil?
No.
Amy B says it's like living in Europe with the value added tax. Yeah, how does Europe handle property tax though? They probably got both. Right? Probably. Thought I'd share some interesting things coming around Kansas here as well. This was a post that was put up in Osawatomie. People are just pissy. I mean, I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you guys are the same in your guys' county, but is everybody complaining and moaning about taxes and everything?
Well, yeah, because it's hitting everybody.
Yeah. I'm just curious what it's like, if it is like it is here, because here it's a super big topic.
You're asking other states.
Other states, other counties, even other counties in Kansas. From Osawatomie, which is south of here, posted this and said, bring your earplugs with you and check your wallet at the city hall. Yeah. I also thought it was funny that Union Sheriff's office, this is the picture all the way on the right, says have an X with a warrant. Send us their whereabouts. We'll send a deputy to wish them a happy Valentine's Day.
Oh my gosh.
Talk about being played, right?
Wow.
What do you think about that?
That's pretty shitty.
Hey, Permatopia Farm, welcome in.
Yeah.
Hey, Nito says the article says it's grocery exemption possible. Yeah. Yeah, so maybe it might not be on the tomato, but would certainly be on the 2x4.
Right.
Right? Another reason to have a sawmill. Right? Let's see here. Rabid Coyote says, we're trying to get property and personal property taxes on the ballot for 2026 to vote on. We have a high revenue amount from the legalization of recreational cannabis, and we don't need property tax. There's another one. If Kansas doesn't have that, but if you told me we could legalize the cannabis industry and have no property tax, sign me up.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yep, sign me up. Speaking of Missouri, I don't know if you've seen this, Rabid Coyote, but a law on the books in Missouri states that women cannot get divorced if they're pregnant. For the second consecutive year, a Missouri House took a significant step in getting that overturned. I put this slide in here because, I talk all the time typically on Facebook, because I post more on Facebook than I do than what I do on YouTube. But legal and moral are not the same thing. And legal and right are not the same thing. And I just think this is a great example of how just because it's illegal for a woman in the state of Missouri to get divorced while she's pregnant,
Which is crazy.
But it's just maybe this is just one of those cases of an old law that was on the books for a long time, and they've never had it challenged, right? So they've never done anything with it until all of a sudden someone gets a hold of it and says, "Wait a second," Packrat says, "My mother lived through the Depression. RE used aluminum foil and rinsed the thick Ziploc bags. I think some people may be reintroduced to that soon."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rabbit Cody goes, old law in the books. Yeah, I'm assuming it's just an old law that's just now got somebody's attention, and so now it's become this, big thing. Unique Prepping says, Colorado is bad. I can't wait to move and start building our home. Have you guys figured out exactly where you're moving to, Zach? Let's see here. Skanes Girl said, been doing those all my life. My mom grew up in the Great Depression as well. And the sad part is there's not very many people left who lived during the Great Depression. This and most of the generations of the people alive today have never really seen trouble. Not real trouble, right? So it's sad when those go. It seems like that's a cycle that repeats itself, that, eventually the people who learned how to deal with, tribulation, built these strong nations, and then they eventually all die off. And then, the cycle goes back around where we have to learn it again, which is sad, Serve friends, welcome in. Says Maryland Governor Wes Moore has a new nickname, Taxmore. He promised not to raise taxes and ended up raising all taxes and fees. Yeah, that happens everywhere. I know for sure of our commissioners, 2 of the 3 ran on they would not raise property tax,
Yeah.
and they did. One of them did not say that, and
He said,
did.
he
Yeah.
said, I made no promises to you folks.
Yeah. Kerry Davis says it's important to know how to live poor. I agree. I have stacks of foil and run my Ziploc bags through the dishwasher, but I digress. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. And Zach says Utah or Arkansas. Of those 2, I would pick Arkansas from a prepping survival perspective, mainly because of water, soil, and also political climate.
Climate.
That's just me though. You guys know we are doing a town hall meeting here with our local county commissioners, and I thought I'd share with you guys some of the stuff that's going on. So there's the actual flyer that goes out. There's actually a QR code in the center of it that will take you to a survey, and that survey just talks about what are the issues that are important to you and those kind of things. What we're trying to do is gain enough information to know which are the main topics to be talked about, and then also how much time should we spend on each of those topics.
Yeah.
Right. And so you can see here, let me see if I can get it.
And then if they have a particular question, they can put it on there also, right?
Yes.
There's a spot on there where they can actually put a question.
Yeah. Well, there's a few things there. So the first thing is what matters to you. And so like the big topics right now, the ones that have come up at this point in the survey, and this picture's a couple days old, but is the big one's taxes at 89.47%.
Right.
Right. Property rights is running second at 65.79. Solar and wind at 55.26. What else you got in here? And then we've got all kind of about the same at road and bridge, budget, transparency, and privacy are all running in the mid 40s. Mm-hmm. And then we had 2 that were others that came in there. And so again, we'll use this to build the question and answer period for the town hall meeting coming up, which I'm moderating. So this is super valuable information to me.
Well, and then the commissioners can see this also.
Yes, 100%. And hopefully what happens is we get, a couple hundred people answering these questions, and we get a really good sample size, which will hold a whole bunch of weight, with the commissioners and that. And again, the more people you get to do it, the more true it becomes.
Are you taking the information of the people who do it? Do you know that Joe
Yes.
Smith said?
Yes. Now then they
answered
can,
these
they
questions?
could type in Mickey Mouse and the survey would accept it. Right. So, they could be anonymous if they wanted to.
Okay.
The second question that was on there is, do you know who your commissioner is? And this one really kind of surprised me that 34% did not know. So in my county, we have 3 commissioners and 3 districts, right? And so those 3 commissioners, each one of them has one, District 1, District 2, and District 3. And 34% of those polled did not know who their commissioners were.
And they live in their area. The commissioners live inside the area
Correct.
that they are commissioner of.
Correct. So we will continue to use this information. I got a meeting coming up here shortly. We're going to start reaching out to the populace for actual questions. Then when we actually get to the day of the event, again, I'm the moderator, and there'll be 3 commissioners on stage. The questions will be color coded based upon these topics. So like, for example, the green questions will be solar and wind, so that we can kind of get them all kind of together, so we don't ask the same question 15 times. And then we will allocate the specific amount of time based on the results of the survey to how much time we take questions on a particular topic. This town hall meeting is not sponsored in any way by my county. It's 100% privately done, privately funded, and privately organized. And so it will be very interesting to see, kind of how all that pans out. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. And again, we're still talking about it, but I think there's a chance we'll do it live.
Are you going to give the commissioners the questions ahead of time?
No, not in 100% of the cases. If there's a question that will require research,
or somebody that comes up,
I would share it to them. We'll share it with them.
Can somebody ask a question there?
Yes, and it's not limited to just asking them online. They'll be asking them there. This will all be going on.
Somebody can stand up 100%. And say, "Hey, I want to know blah blah blah."
No, they can walk over to the table and they can fill out a question card, and that question card will end up with me. And then I will ask the question to the commissioners. Now, if they want to have a follow-up or a rebuttal, there'll be microphones in the audience. and so
Okay.
people can continue to talk.
Sometimes it's hard to hear people.
Yeah.
So
Well,
to have a loud voice when you're up
Yeah.
and trying to do that, that's a nice thing.
yeah, part of the reason you do that is because one, if you just hand microphones out to ask questions, people's questions will be 8 minutes long, and they'll just
Oh,
talk
yeah.
and they'll talk. And so what you're trying to do
Yeah.
is keep it free, where people can say what they want, no topics off the table, but yet keep some kind of organization in it,
Yeah.
so that you get a few of the questions, answered kind of as you go through. Yeah, Permatopia Farm says taxation's theft. Period. I 100% agree.
She spelled out period.
Yeah,
She means it.
She means it. Nito says my grandparents lived through the Depression, but I learned to wash and reuse everything I could as a single mom of 3 sons. Yep, no state aid, no child support. Sis is all on my own. Good for you.
Yeah.
And those skills
Good job.
will serve you for the rest of your days. I can assure you of that. What's interesting about all of this is we were running these surveys and we were getting, and they're posted on all the town pages and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, somebody else starts a survey, which I found very interesting. Did you know
Somebody
this?
else? Mm-mm.
Today, happened today. So somebody else decided that they were going to start a survey. And
Who?
so I'll tell you, I'll fill you in. So it says the survey is intended to provide residents, small businesses, and local industry and nonprofits an opportunity to have their voices heard in a meaningful way to help inform leaders and policymakers in Jackson County your views on the quality of life, public safety, and economic development across the county. So the survey, I took it because I wanted to see what was in it and who was behind it. And so it starts with, do you live in our county, blah, blah, blah. But really quickly, it starts heading into alternative energy and renewable energy. How would you describe your feelings about renewable energy? What would you want from a company that brought renewable energy? Let me give you guys a little bit of background. So we have been fighting for some period of time now, a company called Nextera, and they want to bring in, I don't even know how big anymore, up to maybe a 12,000 acre solar farm into our county. And then of course, none of that power stays here. It's all gets, it's a commodity. So it goes to the highest bidder, wherever that happens to be. And it doesn't really create any jobs. And the company's kind of a shady company, in my opinion. And so we've been kind of fighting back against it. And so all of a sudden, a company called Halo puts out this survey. We start doing a little bit of investigation, and there's ties to Halo to Nextera. So I think this is Nextera trying to kind of combat our town hall meeting a little bit, right? And maybe get some information, to maybe to help counter our survey, which will be I'm assuming they would think would be very negative towards, the
It
solar
had
farm.
nothing to do with them.
No, but one of the topics in there is solar. I mean, right?
Yeah. So
I mean,
they took it personal. And
if you go back, right here, solar, right, is 55.26% of the people who took the survey said solar and wind.
And they went. So they probably can other people see this? Anybody who takes the survey, can they see
No, they
the
cannot see
results?
the answers
Okay.
until I post the answers. But
Or the
what
results.
they can see is solar and wind's on there,
Right.
is one of the topics.
What is the next number? 21. 21 people voted for that?
21 people clicked that box, yes. And then 16 people road and bridge, 34 people taxes, 16 budget, 25 property rights.
And this was all just this week.
No, this is a 3 days old. So the numbers are probably about double this right now. Be my guess. But anyway, I did find it interesting that
Yeah, that's fishy.
kind of fishy, isn't it?
Whoa. Especially how they have this worded is
Yeah.
basically the same wording that you put in yours.
Yeah. I think you look through that and make sure. I thought there was a word that was misspelled in there. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Pack Rat says use it up, wear it out, make do or do without. Yeah, and as B says, 2 is 1, 1 is none, 3 is spare, right?
Yes.
So anyway, I wish us luck, you guys. That's going to be an incredible endeavor, and I've never done a town hall meeting before, so this will be new to me.
Have you ever been to a town hall meeting?
Yes,
So,
but there's a big difference though. I can't really use that as comparison because most of the time a town hall meeting is orchestrated by the county,
Oh, right.
which means that the county sets the agenda, which means the county has you sign in. They limit you to 3 minutes of talking, whatever, right? This is a town hall meeting that was put together by the people.
Yeah.
And so you don't have any of those things.
No, you're it. You have to figure it out.
So we have to figure it out. So yeah, so I've never been involved in something like this, but I'm excited, and I'm hoping that if we can get it streamed live, what you guys will take from it is things you can do in your own counties.
Yeah, that would be cool.
You know, it was pretty neat to walk into the commissioner's office and tell them that we, the people, are having a meeting and their, appearance is requested. You know, that was pretty cool, I think. Or maybe I'm just pleased by little things. What do you think?
No, I thought it was really cool. And I thought it was pretty cool that they all said,
We'll be
yeah.
there. Yeah. Also, as of this morning, we have a new billboard in our county. Thought I would share that with you guys.
Yep.
Yep.
This went up overnight.
Yep, that went up overnight. And so, you get social media campaigns talking about it. You get people doing town hall meetings that are talking about it. You get letters to the editor, which we've had some of them happen this last week and the week before, and the week before, and the week before. And if you guys remember, there was a sign that was put up about the solar earlier that I shared with you guys. This replaces that exact same sign right there. And so this will stand, I imagine, for a few months until something else has happened.
When is the town hall?
It is March the 4th at 7 p.m. And it's at a local church that'll seat about 300.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought you guys might find that pretty
So
cool.
get involved.
Gary Davis says, hopefully James O'Keefe doesn't show up incognito. Well, I don't know about James O'Keefe, but I'm 100% sure there will be people there in incognito. I'll leave that one right there. Why don't you tell them what happened here, Pumpkin?
And this is our brand new gate that we put up last year. And we had this, so this is the gate that the dog got through when she got shot. So I took wire, and you could barely see it on there, but I had the bottom part of this gate wired shut, and then I had just the cattle chain latched on it. So there was, a carabiner with a chain on it. That's it. Well, I noticed, I just drove past this part of the yard, and the ground was really disturbed, and I continued to drive over to the gate, and the gate is bent, and the
You guys can see in that center picture all the way at the bottom. I tried to blow it up. That you can see the pins bent.
yeah, the pin is bent. So now the gate is like touching the ground.
Yeah.
And I stopped over at the local farm store and got a couple of feet of chain that my lock would go through, because my deadbolt would not go through the chain that comes with the fencing or gate, I mean. So I latched it with the gate chain, but then I put on the bottom there, I put another chain with a padlock, and I put the padlock on the inside. So now they have to contact us in order to.
Why don't you tell them straight who did it? Because you skipped that whole part.
I assume it was the water company, because the guy up the roads, first he drove past 3 times. So I called Tag and I was like, hey, stay on the phone here, because I think this guy's going to stop. So on his 4th drive past, he stopped, and he said that he lived up the road and that he had lost pressure of his water on Sunday night. And then he assumed Monday they had came in to fix his water.
So the water company went through my my chained closed gate into my property, because the water line runs in there, which is outside of the easement, by the way. They buried the line outside of the easement. So if you guys look in the picture all the way to the right, the easement is 25 feet from the center of that road. They have the easement for the first 25 feet. And for any of you guys who can, measure it all in your brain, you know that the water line, which is behind my fence, is beyond the 25 feet. But anyway, they came in, dug a hole, tore my ground up, ran over a tree, broke my fence, and left, and never once notified me.
No, I found it. So I put chains on it, padlocks, and
American Roots wants to know, has anyone ever looked up the traffic counted in front of that billboard? If I remember right, Rex told me that it was 23,000 cars a day. I remember right.
Mm.
I'd have to verify that, but yeah, Skane says, I saw that sign today in my travels. Permatopia says, I have about 1,000 bare root tree seedlings about a foot tall to plant in March. What is the most efficient way to dig a hole and transplant them? Yeah, so they're about a foot tall, so you're going to have to dig a hole, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, most
They're
efficient.
bare root.
Yeah, but I don't think you can just peel them up like we do with the the cedars.
I would try it.
Would you?
1,000.
Yeah. So what we do with the little cedar plugs, Mandy, is we just take a shovel. Okay, let me get this off here so you can see me good. Oops.
Can you see
Probably
us good?
probably want that one. Okay, so what we do is we take a shovel and we just drive it into the ground, peel the ground apart, stick the plug in, and push it back together. Okay. Now, but
And water it.
Yeah, and you're talking about for little trees, right? And it works great. We've had a lot of good success with it, but I don't know as far as your trees are,
They're bare root.
yeah, they're bare roots. So it might work okay doing that.
And they're a foot tall?
Yeah, so not very big.
What kind of trees are they?
Yeah, that's a good question. What kind of trees are they? Okay, let's go back. And it's funny that B said that she thought it was the water company. They left
Well, I
a
didn't.
sign.
Yeah, I didn't see that until way later, dude.
Permatopia said the trench shovel would work. Yep. Yep, you can try that. I think if I had fruit trees, though, I probably wouldn't do it that way, Mandy, just so you know.
Yeah, I agree.
I would, I would go and get my skid loader and my auger, and I would actually dig a big hole so that she could break the dirt up really well and give the roots a place to go. But if I was doing little plugs of cedar trees, I would never use my skid loader. It'd take way too much time and effort when the shovel works really good for that. But what else we got there? Oh, this was a cool. I was driving down the road. See that picture? Look at that bridge.
What is it?
It's a big hole.
There's a hole in the bridge.
There's a hole in the bridge. Yep. I was driving back from EMP Shield one day, and American Roots has seen this. They've commented on it several times. So I took that driving down the road,
Good
which
grief.
probably shouldn't have been doing.
No.
But anyway.
So somebody hit it.
Yeah, I just think it's crazy that, our taxes are through the roof. Everyone's paying more than they ever have, and yet this is the kind of stuff we get.
Well, I mean, come on. Somebody had to have hit that. That didn't just collapse underneath.
No, you can't see it real good, but baby, it's just rotted out of there. It's not broken off.
Oh, really?
No, that's an old bridge.
You don't think that somebody drove through with their ladder up and
Oh, no.
and then it
I don't know.
it's been there for a few years and it got rusty?
Mm.
Although it looks like concrete.
What else? Great Plains Homestead Happenings is a group on Facebook that we started so that we could put all of the community stuff in there, events, all of that kind of stuff. So if you haven't, go over there and check it out. It's been pretty cool. We're not really promoting it or anything, but it's been out about a week or so, and it's got 150 members in it or something like that. I'd have to go look, but yeah, but go check it out. And again, you'll be able to see what we're doing far as the homesteading. It's not political. It's just the homesteading stuff. The events and things
Basically
like that.
events. People are like, what's going on?
Same things happened last week here, a bridge not too far from us. Yeah, I guess
People do that.
Yep.
It's a very common thing.
When I looked at it, it looked to me like it was just crumbled because the rebar was still going across, the concrete was just missing. The rebar really wasn't bent. And things like that. So Spring Festival, just a reminder to all you guys, April the 11th from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. Everybody's welcome.
Yep.
And
food served at 4.
Yep. Food served.
Beef and chicken sliders. Bring a side to share. Please include a list of ingredients with your dish so those with dietary restrictions can make informed choices. Come have a seed starting relay race, having scavenger hunt, karaoke, singing, good time.
Okay. Seed planting.
Free table. What's that say? Bang. Oh, bring what you don't want, or don't bring what you don't need. Take what you do.
Yep. So there'll be a big table of free stuff.
Yeah.
Take what you need. Leave something.
I had a pair of boots that I couldn't use. They were just way too tight, and so I put them out there. And somebody else was like, "Hey, are these for the taken?" I'm like, "Yeah, they're not gonna work. And they were like, oh, I could totally use these for my kid. I'm like, deal.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Mandy says, they are all kinds of trees, from wild fruit trees, different types of nut trees, big trees like sycamore, etc. They will be planting on a berm with swells capturing water. So if the berm is pretty soft soil, I think you get away with the shovel just fine.
Probably.
If it's hard packed soil, you probably wouldn't. That'd be my guess.
They're also having a raffle and tons of bubble fun.
Yeah, why don't you talk about the raffle?
So
Even though I know you don't know what's in it, but you keep getting
No.
boxes.
So they're having a raffle of items. The like a kitchen basket or a gardening basket or things like that. There are other ideas they were coming up with. So I don't want to say anything that's not accurate yet, but yeah, so boxes are coming in care of one of the people putting it on. So I told her I'd take them and shove them in a corner until she got here, and then go through them.
Yep. Our next one after this will be July, and it'll be the Freeman 4th of July celebration, and the Freedom Fest. You know what they're calling it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Freedom Fest. Fireworks and all that good kind of
Which
stuff.
is summer.
But the first one coming up, April the 11th, and I hope you guys are all there. I wanted to share something funny with you guys. So I had a private message on Facebook this week that asked me that they were confused because I had just posted something that they would see as conservative, but yet some of my other posts they seen as liberal, and which one was I?
Yeah.
And so I did a big
They were trying to figure out if they liked you or not.
Yeah, right. So I did a big post on Facebook that talked about, I must be a Republican because of this. I must be a Democrat because of this. I must be a libertarian because of this. I must be a, anarchist because of this. I must be an agorist because of this. And just had some fun with it. And then I figured out I could put them all together. So I have officially found the party that I belong to. And I'm going to devote my loyalty to the Republicratarian Anarch-Agorists party. And that's what I'm going to be. How do you feel about that?
I think you should put it like that so everybody can read it. When you put it all together, everybody's like...
It's the Republicratarian Anarch-Agorists. Okay, say that fast, right?
The only political party.
Yeah, Republicratarian Anarch-Agorist. That's my new political party. I thought I would share it with you guys because...
Why only 3 stars?
That's a really great question. I don't know why there's only 3 stars. Especially because I named 5 groups.
I think you'd put 1 on each arm, 1 on each wrist.
Yeah, maybe. Do you guys have any ideas on how to improve the Republicratarian Anarch-Agorist logo? Then we'll put it on some shirts. Would you wear a shirt like that?
No.
Why not?
I just wouldn't.
Why wouldn't you?
Because I don't want the conversation.
You don't want someone to actually say it or explain it?
Nope. I want to be left alone. I want to get my whatever and get out.
Maybe the Bigfoot needs earmuffs.
I was thinking something sparkly, like something, I don't know, like a toe ring or...
Toe ring.
I don't know.
Oh,
Nose
my
ring?
goodness.
Belly button ring.
American Roots says the elephant had 3 stars. Yeah, Pete Squatch says sounds like a freedom group. American Roots says the donkey had 5 stars. Yeah, Citizen Broadcaster says I'll vote for that party. Yeah, Jamie, welcome in by the way. Says send me one, I'll wear it. Yeah, great things happen in 3, right? Yep. What we need to do is settle in on the logo for the Republicratarian Anarch-Agorist group.
You have to take a breath before you say that.
I'm getting better at saying it though. I just invented it yesterday.
Did you look over at it a couple times?
Yeah, but we need to hone in on it a little bit. I like the toe ring thing. That's actually pretty funny. And then we'll get some t-shirts printed.
Or a knee brace or
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Jess from American Roots Farm prints our shirts for us, so if we do them, that's where they'll be. But I would love your guys' input. What else should we put on the Republicratarian Anarchagorist logo? Okay, wait, hold on a second. Romans Girl, how you doing? Says, Tag, you left an R out on the logo. It says ACK instead of ARC. An ARC. Where's an AC at? There's no AC. Or maybe it's up there. Oh yeah, right up above the head of the, I see what you're doing. Got it. The Republicratarian and ACA. There's an R right there.
Banaka.
Yeah.
Banaka.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm happy to see you used my image as the center. We did actually, Squatchy. You were the inspiration on why we used the Sasquatch. Right? Skane's Girl says a wiener ring. You know, like a cow's.
Oh, yeah.
What were you thinking about?
I don't know.
Well, come on, Beach.
Wait, what?
What were you talking
That's
about?
weird.
What did you think she was talking about?
The wiener
What kind of wiener?
ring.
What kind of wiener ring?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't
Like
know?
a piercing is what I was thinking.
A wiener piercing?
Yeah.
You thought she was talking about a wiener piercing, like an actual wiener piercing.
That's what I thought.
Uh-huh.
Like, that's what came to my mind.
What do those look like?
I don't know. That's why I went there. That's not fun. Let's not do that, Skanes Girl.
I love you, B.
But now that makes sense. That makes way more sense. So it'd be like this like thing with the spikes on the top of it.
Skids 2R, welcome in, says, looks like 84 acres just went up for sale on Zillow next door to you. 500K. Woo. Yeah, that's money, but it's a beautiful piece of property.
84 acres?
That's a lot of land.
That is a lot of land.
Yep. Edward says, put the eagle on his forearm. Wouldn't it be funny if you could make it look like an eagle, like from an old Navy tattoo?
Yeah.
You know?
Kind of
Old
bled.
and tore up and bled. Yeah, a little bit. Yep. Carrie Davis says bling. You mean we need to add bling, or are you talking about the wiener ring? That's bling.
Add a ring.
Mm-hmm. Roman says, I feel like he needs to be holding something symbolic, a bow and arrow, some kind of wheat or corn. I don't know. What could he be holding? He could be dragging a elephant and a donkey. No, that's mean. Starla says, watching Tag and B at Life Done Free on my 57th birthday. Life could not be better.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Starla. Everybody want to sing happy birthday to Starla? Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Starla. Happy birthday to you. Yay.
Have a wonderful evening.
Yep. All right. Any other ideas from the Republicratarian Anarchagorist? Yep. Anyway, I'm going to have some fun with this because I think it's great. And nobody will get it. And because nobody will get it, I think that's great.
Yeah.
That's the best part to me. Gratitude Grace says an axe and a chainsaw. Ooh. I like both of those. Six Broadcaster says holding a flag. You mean like a don't tread on me flag? Like an appeal to heaven flag? Like a killdozer flag? Like what kind of flag? Pete says, I don't guess, says the RCAA. What's that mean? Oh, the Republican Republicrat.
The RC AAA.
Oh, that would, we could have fun with that too. The RC AAA, because it totally sounds like a government organization, like the NCAA or whatever.
Right.
We're the RC AAA.
RC AAA.
The RC AAA. Jess, this is an important one.
A to the third power.
Yeah. You could totally go RCA to the third power. Nobody would get it. That's what makes it funny, I think.
Is that your next tattoo?
Yeah, no. And Dana Green says, ouch. I don't know what we're ouching, but anyway. I thought you guys would find that funny. I found it funny, and we kind of made it by accident, but it was kind of funny, so I think I'm just going to run with the Republicratarian Anarchagorist.
Well, it's
And
what you are.
yeah, what would you say you are?
None of that.
None of that?
Yeah. I'm just doing laundry.
You're a laundritariist? No?
Yes, I guess.
Wondering about wiener rings?
No, had already
Yeah, right there. Look at that.
already passed that.
RCA 3. Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I like the RCA. Yeah. Yep, she's just thanking everybody. Yep, very good. Starla, we do hope you have an absolute great rest of your day. And instead of just having a birthday, have a birthday weekend and enjoy the whole thing, right?
Yeah, Monday off too, right? President's Day.
Let's get rid of that. So what else? When are you going to start? You got potatoes you're getting ready to do? You're going to go spread some seeds? What are you going to do? Then we'll get to...
I'm not planting potatoes. I've got potatoes. What?
I don't even know if I could say this. I'm sorry right there. I'm laundrophobist.
Phobist?
Laundrophobist.
Doesn't want to do laundry.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I get it. Laundrophobist. Yeah. Who does your laundry? And is that Jess or is that Joe talking? Because if it's Jess, that means Joe's doing the laundry. But if Joe, it means Jess doing the laundry. Yeah. Oh no. Starlet says I actually just got home from being in the hospital.
Oh no.
Well, at least you're home. And if you're home, that means you left the hospital. So those are both good things,
Yeah.
right?
Glad you're doing better.
Yep.
If you're home. Happy birthday.
Well, so back to the garden. What do you got to do?
What do I got to do?
Yeah,
I'm not going to do anything right now because it's still February.
Yeah, I thought you said you were going to go spread some.
There are some seeds that I want to spread. I don't know which ones they are though.
You just want to spread some.
I want to
seeds
get out there. I'd love to get out there. But I'm trying to do my winter stuff right now because it's February.
Apparently Joe's doing the laundry. Yeah, Dana Green says make shirts with that. With which one? The laundrophobist?
The laundrophobist.
Which one are we making shirts for, Dana? We could put a picture of Joe on it, like holding up a brassiere or something from laundry.
Have an iron and
Yeah.
a hanger.
Yeah, maybe some
A
long
shirt.
underwear.
Long underwear. Okay.
Long underwear. Yeah.
A dress shirt.
Well, should we get to good news?
Hopefully he's like ironing his stuff with I had a guy once that he had a line right here. And I was like, what is that? And he goes, I don't want to talk about it. I said, no, are you okay? What is that? Seriously. And he goes, I was trying to iron my shirt. And I was like, on? He said, yes, on. And I was like, you were ironing the shirt on, dude. And he touched his neck with the iron. It was just a line across his neck.
I mean, that hurt.
Yeah, he was like, I don't even want to talk about it. Like, I was in a hurry, had to get it done, and it just was not working.
Yeah, rest well, Starla. All right. Well, I'm sure you guys know that there is so much crazy stuff going on in the world today. And, I know I've talked about this before, but discernment is just so hard. I don't even know what's true anymore. I can come up with a theory in my head to about everything. And, I'll share a lot of articles with you guys tonight. And some blow me away. And some are like, you got to be kidding me. And some I can see true scam in it. Anyway, we'll talk about it, but some very interesting things going on. Let's start with ivermectin. So the NIH, the National Institute of Health, says ivermectin, a macrocrylic lactone discovered in the mid-70s, plays a critical role in the treatment of a wide range of parasitic diseases. In humans as well as veterinary practices over the past decade, researchers have explored repurposing this molecule as an anti-cancer agent following the 2015 Nobel Prize in Medicine for the discovery of ivermectin by a researcher who pioneered the concept of looking for uses beyond antibiotics for biologic activity in microorganisms. The NIH is currently funding intramural research for this purpose. So another conspiracy theory proven true. So the NIH is now doing studies to see if ivermectin has a positive impact on cancer patients. There have been doctors screaming this is true forever.
That's crazy.
Right? Absolutely crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, and now all of a sudden it's okay for them to say it.
Yeah. Brett Weinstein, his analysis of 80 ivermectin court cases, and this had to do with cancer, right? Revealed a mind-blowing statistic. In the 40 cases where ivermectin was permitted, 38 survived. In the 40 cases where it was not, 38 died. Using a standard statistical formula, the chances of ivermectin having no impact are roughly 1 in 20 quadrillion. Man. And yet we were all denied this treatment. This is one of the biggest medical tragedies in modern history. Concerned Friend says, plus with all the AI created vids with misinformation. Like I'm saying, I don't know how anybody today understands the truth.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. I get in mild arguments, but pretty regularly over Facebook and they're typically liberals, but sometimes conservatives, but typically liberals, about whatever, stance I took about whatever. And they're just so hard set in their position. And I'm like, if you're not right now saying, I'm not sure what I believe is right, you got it wrong. I mean, because it's really, really hard to figure out anything that's truth. Found this one interesting too. The Mayo Clinic says measles virus puts patients' cancer into remission. High doses of the measles virus have put 2 patients' blood cancer into remission, researchers at the Mayo Clinic reported this week.
So would you like cancer or measles?
Yeah.
Which would you like?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh man, I hate that you gave me the cancer diagnosis. Well, you're in
Well,
luck.
maybe
We can give you measles instead.
Maybe measles was the body created in order to combat cancer, and they took it away.
You think that?
I don't know.
You think you got cancer first? You think that?
I'm just questioning everything, babe. I don't have any idea. I don't know if any of it's true. I don't know the NIH is really studying it. I'm not there.
Right.
I'm just can tell you that it's reported on, right? The World Health Organization just ran a full-scale simulation for the next pandemic, and 31 different governments went along with it. So if you guys remember back during the whole COVID debacle, there was a big
Debacle.
full-scale simulation of a pandemic that happened in 2019, right before the 2019 COVID pandemic. This one I found super interesting. Lab-grown life takes a major step forward as scientists use AI to create a virus that's never been seen before. That's the headline from the Daily Mail. Let that sink in. A researcher at a private company doing this work told the Daily Mail, for at least 4 billion years, all life on Earth has evolved by trial and error process of Darwinian evolution by natural selection, which lacks any foresight or intention. Natural evolution now has a co-author, and it's people. It's humans. I think having AI develop any kind of bio anything is probably a bad idea. Don't know, but let me see. Edward says, look up Florida Sharkman Cancer Protocol and Parasite Protocol. That's what my caregiver gave me to follow on the use of ivermectin and fenbendazole. What was the next one? Florida health officials pulled 25 baby formulas off the store shelves to test for heavy metals. Nearly 70% failed. Arsenic, lead, and mercury. If food for babies can be this contaminated and still get sold, the whole system meant to protect us is a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would not be feeding. Well, here's the thing. I mean, isn't it crazy how you change? Like now I go to the grocery store and I'm like almost repulsed by it.
Yeah.
I don't want to go down the aisles.
By the stuff that's in there.
Yeah, I want to go get the stuff around the edges, the meat, cheese, whatever I have to get at that point. Really, I just want to eat my own meat from the house.
Right.
Right, and our own vegetables to grow, but we're not far enough along where we can do that full time yet. So
right. we're still in the cheeses and.
Yep. Let's see. Oh, this was interesting. So there's a Chinese nationalist. He's that's the CEO of a company called Spring Education Group. We know who that is? So they have purchased now over the last handful of years 240 schools across the country. Most of them would be on the east and the west coast. The center of the country isn't touched all that much, but so for a profit, they aim to infuse Chinese Communist Party ideology and communism into American classrooms. Do you support the banning of Chinese firms buying U.S. schools? I think this is alarming. This is from Caroline Levitt, but I think what's alarming about this is, they also buying up lots of land
Yeah.
and productive farmland. And I think what's interesting about that is a lot of the land they bought up is not in the states they bought up with the schools,
Huh.
which maybe is just a coincidence. I know you guys all believe in coincidences, right?
Not usually.
Let's see here. Jim Ferguson says this isn't medicine. This is mass biological control, a long-acting injection. Listen to this. Every 6 months, rolled out to millions of people, fast and across multiple diseases with no meaningful public debate. They're openly talking about treating a twice yearly injectable drug as a functional vaccine deployed at populous scale simultaneously in rich and poor countries. So let me interpret what he just said and all of that. So what they're talking about is a way to keep people safe. If they just built a, one size fits all vaccine that kind of handles everything and get everybody to take it twice a year, we could control health. But let's think about that. This isn't a targeted care. This isn't emergency medicine. This is a permanent medical dependency by design. When one injection replaces immunity, when prevention requires lifelong compliance. So if their immune system was destroyed,
Yeah.
you would be forever dependent. And once you're dependent, then it doesn't matter what the cost is. Also, through economic warfare and cost and those things, they could pick winners and losers. And they could say, hey, your usefulness to our country has gone down because you're no longer paying taxes. So we're going to deny you only get it once a year, whatever it is, right? But what a horrible idea that is.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Guys, we need to be resisting the urge to replace the human, system for some type of
Function.
vaccine, right?
Yeah.
I mean, our immune system's strong, and it's good. I did not get the COVID vaccine, but I can tell you this: that I got COVID once. I've never had it since. When I got it, it was fairly mild, and I'm not downplaying COVID. My dad died from COVID. I'm just saying that I think your body can handle a lot of that stuff. You agree?
Well, you're still here.
Right. Well, breastfeeding was demonized so much just to create consumer for profit. Well, yeah, if mom's producing the milk, then the formula companies aren't making anything, right? And this goes long, long, long way back. I need to do a post one of these days about women's lib, and how they just created another taxpayer to the thundering applause, Let's see here. Conserve Friend says about as accurate as flu vaccines. Yeah, it's just disgusting. And to get our immune system dependent upon petrochemicals is a bad idea on every front. Right.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea.
No. For any of you people out there who have young kids, let them play in the dirt. Let them climb the tree. Let them eat mud. Those are all great things for a kid. Let's see here. World Economic Forum says you're no longer talking about health. We're talking about control of the human body at scale. Million injected quickly, repeated forever, decided by partnerships, foundations, and global planners, not patents. And anyone who asks questions is told to shut up, trust the experts, and get in line. This isn't about saving humanity. It's about re-engineering how humanity is managed. Ask the question they don't want asked. Who benefits when the entire world is locked into a twice yearly injection cycle indefinitely?
Yeah.
Hey, Straw, welcome in. 54 says, my daughter took the vaccine to keep her job and has had COVID 4 times since. I feel super sorry for all those people who got put into that position. And you guys, most of you guys know my story, and I was put in that position and I stood up to them and didn't get it, but I was also in a place where I could have. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people out there who that choice would not even be on there, because how would they eat otherwise?
Right.
And I feel really, really bad for them. And I really hope that someday we start seeing mass class action lawsuits against employers who did this. And, they'll just blame the government, which then you can't sue them, and you can't sue the, vaccine manufacturers. But I would really, really, really like to see a bunch of class action stuff held and people held accountable, because it's ridiculous, completely ridiculous. I don't know if you guys heard, I'm sure most of you have, there was a shooting in Canada this last week, and this person walked in, and after killing their mother and sister, if I remember correct, walked in and killed 10 kids, injured 25 others.
This first one?
Yeah. And, it was pretty quick. The articles were coming out that this person was some sort of trans. And so I just fascinated by it. Started doing a little article, and I found some interesting numbers since 2015, mass shooting rates by demographic. And if you look at the trans, non-binary, biological male and female, they make up about 50% of the the mass shootings. When you combine everybody else, meaning Asian men, black men, white men, Asian women, Hispanic men, as far as those go, it's about about double of what they do. So if you combine all of the heterosexuals together, all nationalities is about the same as, about half the same as just the binary and the trans movement. And I'm not here to pick on trans, but I am here to tell this is a trend, right? And again, it starts, way, 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 way early. We have people who are convincing kids at 6 and 7 years old to transition. Kids shouldn't even be thinking about their sexuality until much later.
Yeah.
I mean, why is it we don't let sixth graders vote? Right? Why don't we let them, drink or have a driver's license? That's right, because they're eating crayons. They have no business in any of that stuff. Let them, they'll figure out what they want once they become an adult. We should be not involving it. And so you get into these cases of all this medication and all this transitioning and, and all these kinds of things. And then you wonder why they go and shoot a school up. This is bad. This person was bad that did this, but this person was also conditioned here. Right? It was conditioned by all of this affirming care and all of this crazy stuff when they need to do is let them be. It's funny, I read an article that talked about how public school system today is built for girls. And girls will succeed in them better than boys because boys, and what they were talking about is boys need to be boys. They need to run. They need to get that energy out. They need to jump. They need to, play with sticks. They need to climb fences. They need to climb trees. They need to be doing all of those things. That we've stopped them from being all of that. And so we're completely changing the very essence of biologically of who we are.
Yeah.
On both on the male and the female front. And I'm not condoning what this person did by, any stretch of the imagination. I'm just saying something needs to be done here. We need to start recognizing this as a mental disorder. Right? I don't care who you love. I promise you. Anybody who knows me well knows this. I care less. Go live your life as long as you're not affecting somebody else. But this is affecting other people. And I think we really need to start looking at it hard, and we need to stop doing those kind of things. Let's see here. Thistle Creek says, funny you say that about eating dirt. An old Korean vet told me 20 years ago, the reason there is so much sickness is people are too clean and kids need to eat a little dirt. I believe he's right. I absolutely believe he's right. Yep. Got to be 21 to buy tobacco, but 4-year-olds know they want to mutilate themselves. Isn't that crazy? I mean, just fear not harm. This is insane. Welcome in, by the way, but this is just nuts. Right? And I think B had said it perfectly. They eat crayons. Right? Hey, Terminator, welcome in. Terminator says, hello, Freedom Family. I'm late. Had to help cut a 60-foot tree to prevent it from falling on my son's house. That sounds like fun. Wasn't this in Canada where guns are like illegal too? The truth will be told is a lie. A lie will be told as the truth. 100%. And yes, it was in Canada. And they're supposed to not have guns, but obviously they got a hold of a gun and they did massive damage. I mean, I was reading some of the families' stories of the kids, who died on it. They, just everyday kids. And we're creating this mess. We're creating it for political gain. And, I've talked about this. I talked about this when we were talking about the Minnesota riots too, is that at the end of the day, the Minnesota riots, the rioters are the victims. The police are the victims because they're all being played like some puppet master by the system, right? The immigrants are even a victim. I know immigrants firsthand who were flown here with promise of a better life by the administration. They came here with an invitation. So it just blows me away. The Terminator says only certain guns. Yep, I wonder how many of those shooters grew up playing video games of killing people. Hicks, I don't know about that. I grew up, we had video games in my later teenage years, and there was plenty of shoot 'em up video games, and I never once considered.
There were shoot 'em up games?
Oh, sure. I never once considered.
Like Mortal Kombat was like the worst one.
Yeah, they weren't like they are today. Like we didn't have Grand Theft Auto, but we still had shooter games.
Pong, come on.
Yeah, no, come on. Pong. Oh my goodness. Did you ever play Pong?
That was way before my time.
You played Wiener Ring.
Yeah, that was way before my time.
Oh,
We didn't really
goodness.
have video games.
Okay, you guys, I'm sure, have heard of the SAVE Act. So the SAVE Act is being sold as this new act that will require identification to vote.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. And it's interesting. There's a lot of arguments being made. For example, Representative Hillary Schlatten says that the SAVE Act will prevent 160,000 women from voting in her district because they didn't change their last name on their birth certificates after getting married. You literally don't change your name on your birth certificate. These people are idiots.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Did you change your name on your birth certificate?
No.
Okay, just checking. So basically, what they're saying, long story short, is that it's going to affect because they're going to require some additional identification. For example, it says it will require individuals to provide documented proof of U.S. citizens, such as a U.S. passport, a birth certificate, certain military tribal IDs with birthplace info, or a specific real ID compliant documents indicating citizenship when registering to vote in the federal elections. And so some people are making the argument that a regular driver's license won't work, which it won't because they want you to be a real ID. So this, I think, does two things. One is it pushes to a central, digital ID,
Yeah.
right? It really will help push that. Now, there is some interesting pushback from the right on this too, because the 24th Amendment of the United States Constitution prohibits both Congress and the states from requiring the payment of a poll tax or any other tax to vote in federal elections. So the argument's being made that if you charge somebody to go get an ID, you're charging them a tax to be able to vote, which then violates the Constitution. To me, that seems a little bit of a stretch, but I kind of understand, what they're saying. I don't see why this is such a controversial topic at all. I mean, at the end of the day, it's cracks me up that the people who voted, which it passed the House, it has to pass the Senate now, but the people who voted in it had to show their ID to vote. I'm talking about the state reps, right? The people in the House had to have an ID to make a law about having an ID. It just, right?
Dun.
Yeah, right. Extra 54 says, but Tag, you're a normal person. You might be the only person that's ever accused me of being normal in my entire life.
No, he beats to his own drum.
Yeah, yeah. But again, I don't think that it's just playing of violent video games, although that certainly could play a role. I think
I didn't even think about that, but that could play a role
Well,
because
it
it just,
it could, but I think by itself it wouldn't. If it was just that, and someone had a stable home and a mom and a dad and boundaries and I don't think you'd get as much of this kind of stuff because the vast majority of people committing crimes like that, babe, are kind of on the fringe, right? And so I don't think it would be that alone, but I get it. Did they charge the Border Patrol agent that shot him? I should be, but I think it was a bad shoot. But Alex should have also been minding his business. Proverbs 26:17. He snatched a stray dog by the ear. I've had a lot of heated conversations about the whole Alex thing. Fear Not Farm. At the end of the day, I don't think that what happened to him was just. Now, I watched all the videos, and he was a punk. I mean, he was absolutely kicking the taillights and calling them names and spitting on them, and he was absolutely doing all of those things. I still don't think he should have died for it, but it's bad when you've got political players pushing people to do things like that on one side, and political players pushing people to push them on the ground at the other side, right? And so it's like the system's playing both sides, and then we're in the middle going, what the hell just happened?
Yep. Well, if
Right.
we keep us fighting, then
Well, again, why we need to, assimilate to the new party because, again, you got Republicans on one side, which I don't think are doing the right thing in that perspective, and then Democrats on the other side who are notorious for burning shit down and causing trouble, right?
yeah.
And, I do not think he was charged, to answer the question. Fear Not Farm says, I played a lot of video games like Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, and Battlefield. Yeah. It never once made me want to go shoot anybody. In the SAVE Act, there is a procedure to help those who reportedly can't afford one. Well, I mean, maybe you bring up a great point, Nitos, here. Maybe this is a great way to get rid of a whole department, right? Let's just stop charging people for IDs together, right? Let's not have someone there to collect it. You know, let's just get rid of all the fees to get an ID whatsoever. Then they're not violating the 24th Amendment, and people get IDs, and everybody's happy. I like that idea. Yeah, JB says, how many people don't have ID? I bet not many. Yeah, I bet not many. And this is like the same argument they make with the abortion argument, and they make with all these arguments. So what about incest? What about, you're talking about such a super tiny fraction of everything, you know, that goes on, just like in the ID thing. Pretty much everybody has an ID. You got to get an ID to get in your car and drive down the road.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have an ID to get a job, to have any kind of income. I mean, you got to have an ID to do all of those kind of things. I don't see what the big deal is. That's what I said. He had the constitutional right to be there videoing and carrying a firearm that day. Agreed. He was not kicking anything yet, but at the same time, biblically, it was none of his business. I don't have any problem with him there protesting. I don't even have any problem with him calling them names. You know, I do have a problem with him breaking the taillight out of that truck. I do have a problem with those kinds of things, right? But fully support his right to protest and to be armed, by the way. Let's see here. MEB says, woohoo, 6 tarp loads of cattails off the pond and didn't fall in. Thanks for hanging with me, friends. What are you going to do with the cattails?
Are you going to eat them?
Yeah, Hakestraw says, fear not farm. I think it's all in parental upbringing. Oh, my goodness. What a great point. And again, this goes all the way back to the beginning when they really tried to convince us that men and women were equal. Because they're not. At the end of the day, me and B are not equal. And I don't want to be equal, right?
Yeah.
What does equal mean? We're the same. And we're just simply not. And, you know, back in the day, you know, they had the, you know, the hippie movement and the, you know, the women's rights movements and all of those things. And, you know, to the government, they just laughed along because they got to double their tax base, got to break up the homes. And you know, then they put all of this progressive type of learning into our school system, which now our school raises our kids because we can't, because both people have to work. And then we offer lots of after school programs and these kind of things so we can further indoctrinate them so that when they get home, the only thing that's left to do is to do homework, which again is back to the schools, eat and go to bed. And so your kids get raised completely by the government. You can pick up two tax bases, all by convincing women they could do anything a man could do. What a scam that is. Let me see, got to go. My husband cut my internet cable with the bucket on the tractor moving slow. Oh no. Hang in there, bud. Get rid of the DMV and plates every year. See, I like that. I absolutely like that. Or you know what? Let me go back to this real quick. Kansas, we talked about this last week, is proposing a bill that would make it to where you register your car one time and the plates stay with the car for its life.
Until you sell
Until you
it.
sell it, so that there's some identification. You know, if a police pulls up behind you or something like that, but it's not an every year taxable event. Yeah, but we could we could make taxes go down if all we did is cut the amount of cost to collect the taxes.
Right.
Right? Because if you think about the treasurer's department is a tax arm. They're there to collect fees, issue plates, right? The appraiser's office is a tax arm. They're filing permits, collecting fees.
Yeah.
If we got rid of a bunch of the sections of the people that are collecting fees,
Yep.
we could experience a 20, 30, or 40% drop in our overall taxes just by getting rid of the administration. No services would need to be cut.
Yep.
That makes sense to me.
Go to a 60-year driver's license.
Yep. Let's see here. The cattails will go through anemic wood chipper to be mulch for garden beds. Excellent. Protesting is not the same thing as obstructing. It is also not the same thing as threatening or intimidating. Well, that's a very slippery slope, Romans, because protesting is not the same thing as obstructing. I agree. Obstructing is an action, right? Obstructing is a result. But to say it's not the same thing as threatening, see, I kind of disagree with that, because at the end of the day, you have the right to say what you want. The First Amendment right guarantees that right. If he wanted to get up there and call those ICE agents an SOB or whatever, that's his right. I wouldn't do it. It's tacky, and I actually
Threatening
wouldn't.
is, I'm going to do something to
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Not,
Right.
you're a poop head.
Right, but even in that, a threat is not a crime. Right? I mean, you can't.
I thought you could not threaten people.
Well,
You can't go around and say, I'm going to do you bodily harm.
yeah, except saying I'm going to do you bodily harm is not the same as doing bodily harm.
I think it's.
There's a distinction
like,
there. Well, I don't know, babe.
if I'm mad at my word, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, you got to be careful right there. You know, now you're getting into the Minority Report and thought crimes and all of that kind of
I'm
stuff.
not saying it's a
Yeah, the one thing I do agree with Roman Girl said is that protesting is not the same as obstruction. This I would agree with 100%. Fear Not Farm says cattails will make a good carbon source. I wonder what micronutrients they have. Nito says, I believe those reps and senators objecting to the SAVE Act and trying to fearmonger the public, there are too many that won't read it for themselves. Yeah, but you know what worries me about all that, Nitos, is that, again, it's just a great way to, usher in the digital ID. And, I wish that I could tell you that I had belief our government was doing things for our best interest, just like the SAVE Act.
They are.
That they're really doing it just because of citizens should be voting. Non-citizens should not be voting in our elections. I agree with that. That makes common sense. But never let a good, thing go to waste and get miles out of everything. And so, they, by, bringing in a whole bunch of immigrants to convince us that we need ID for every election so that they can, usher in digital ID. If you're telling me that can't happen, I don't know. I mean, I kind of would buy that, And so I'm always super cautious to whatever they say. I'm just becoming super skeptical, I guess. Amy B says cattails are some sort of forger's gold, tinder, numbing gel, flour from the roots, baskets, cordage, shelter, thrashing, etc. Protesters are on the sidewalk, rioters are in the street. There's some truth to that, because you can't be in the street, but you can be on the sidewalk. I don't believe it's right to collect sales tax every time the same vehicle is resold. I don't either. If you're going to collect the sales tax, I guess you do it at the time it was first sold. But I can tell you this, I know a lot of farmers around here who have now paid more in property tax than they paid for the property they bought.
Yeah.
Amy B says, is the freestanding platform a thing of the past? No, I don't think so. We still talk about it a lot. It's not a full-time project for us, and it's not even in the top priority list to get it rebuilt. It turned into where it was a gigantic bill and something we had to babysit all the time with all the spam and all of that stuff. So we're still having talks about it, but I don't think it's a thing of the past. Roman Girl says, I agree with you about words, but the actions, throwing water, assault, getting in their faces, I think that's a little bit debatable for me, but deliberately getting in their way, that's obstruction, completely different. So on this topic, Roman's Girl, I fully agree with 2 of your 3. I partially agree with the other one, but I fully agree with 2 of the 3. You have to cut government to cut tax. I'm self-serving and don't need the bells and whistles that regulation from big greed government takes. Could not agree more. It is so very disturbing to hear people justify that shooting because he kicked taillights weeks prior. Who the heck would have known that in that situation? That's just dumb. I agree. And Fear Not Farm, I've been super consistent on this point. He did not deserve to die. It was completely unfair in my opinion. But to some of the other points in here, I do agree that obstruction is not the same as protesting.
Yeah.
And, kicking taillights, that's obstruction, all of that stuff's bad. And what should have happened, and just like the Renee Good, the lady before that, my biggest problem with all of it is how is it that our police aren't taught to de-escalate more? Just like the Renee Good thing. Yes, I seen it. She pushed on the gas. The guy was in front of the car. Nicked him, whatever it was. It didn't seem like it was a lot of contact, but nicked him. She ended up giving her life for it. What they should have done is just taken a picture of the license plate, let her go, filed a warrant for her arrest, arrested her at her house, put her in jail, and the situation's over. Right? I just don't think anybody had to die. But I am not justifying in any way Fear Not Farm, his life being taken, because I do not think he deserved that. Where was I even at? Oh, yeah, we already talked about that one. FBI concluded, this is good news so everybody can sleep a little bit better at night. The FBI has now concluded that Jeffrey Epstein wasn't running a sex trafficking ring for powerful men. I'm glad that we all get closure. You happy about getting closure?
Yep. I'm just going to bite my tongue. I'm going to clench my jaw. That is just fantastic news. We can all sleep at night.
Yep, you can sleep now. Thomas Massey says that he has viewed 6 names in the unredacted Epstein files and the Department of Justice erroneously and illegally hid. Now I'm confused. I thought the FBI said there was nothing there, and then Thomas Massey says they're there. I'm super confused. Rep. Lauren Bort states on Newsmax that the unredacted Epstein files are so much worse, possibly even human consumption, cannibalism. This is a way darker than many imagined, but the truth needs to be told. Again, I'm confused. How are we supposed to, as a people, take anything from any of this when you have every side saying, Donald Trump's talking about how it's time to walk away from it? And it's time to let it go. It's time to move on
And
from
when
it.
he was running, it was, I'm going to bring that all to light.
Yeah, that's one of the real problems I have with a lot of this stuff too. Is hold on, I gotta answer this one. Fear Not Farm says it'd be a stretch to say obstruction the day that he was shot. I could make an argument, I think, Fear Not Farm, that he obstructed their course of business, but not in, some significant way that would not even just murder, but cause them to pound him to the ground. I mean, I can see them. He was in the street. He wasn't on the sidewalk. He was in the street. I can see them pushing him back. I could see all of that. I could actually see them writing him a ticket for obstruction and it probably sticking in a court of law, but it definitely went too far. Brett says, don't take a gun to a protest. Don't drive a car defiantly to hit a person or a cop. Brett Boyd, I apologize, but I'm going to have to 100% disagree with you. If you're not going to take a gun to a protest, where do you take it to?
I was going to say, that's probably where I'd take it.
Right. I mean, this is your fundamental right. This is the beginning of it all. Right? I mean, how many people from the right did you see at the January 6th or all of those other ones standing there with an AR-15 over their chest? That's your right. Don't drive a car defiantly into a person. This I agree with. You shouldn't do that.
Right.
Dina Green says, I was just trying to make designer babies and other disturbing things. He was just trying to make designer babies and other disturbing things. Yeah, about Epstein. Mm. The whole Epstein thing, I'm just so super confused about it. The chain of custody, the fact of the matter is, let me share this with you guys. You guys will like this. So right before the live, me and B were talking, and I was telling her that, hey, this Epstein thing goes back
talking about chain of
custody. Yeah, that it goes back 4 presidents. She's like, no, it don't.
No, it doesn't.
I said, oh, yes, it does.
It was just like not that long ago.
Yeah, I said, no. It goes back all the way to George Bush.
And I was like, no.
Yeah,
how long ago was that? That was no.
Yeah. So let me share something with you guys.
No.
That I found super, super interesting. Let's remove that. So I asked.
He wasn't a household name back
then.
Yeah.
So all I did I said, okay, well, let's just Google it. So the question I Googled was, who was president when Epstein was first suspected?
Mm-hmm. Okay? And I was like, suspected? You got to write more than that.
Yeah. And so it's this is from PBS. PBS says, and again, the question is, who was president when Epstein was first suspected? The answer for the PBS article that says Donald Trump. Donald Trump was president when Epstein was first suspected of molesting a 14-year-old girl in 2005. Wait a second.
Wait a minute.
Trump wasn't president in 2005. Guys, this is on my computer. This is just a search engine, right? So wait a second. Trump wasn't president in 2005. So I'm like, that must not be what they mean. So Donald Trump was president when Epstein was first suspected of molesting a 14-year-old girl back in 2005, right?
Yeah, no, that's not what that means.
I said, maybe that's what they mean. So I went a little further.
So I clicked on the article.
Yep. So I actually clicked on the article. And if you go right here, you probably can't see, right above the pink T-Mobile box, March 2005, police in Palm Beach, Florida began investigating Epstein after a family of a 14-year-old girl reports he was molested at his mansion. So how is it that our search engines tell me Donald Trump was president in 2005? Someone please tell me what happened there. Because that is absolutely insane.
Who was president? Donald Trump.
Yeah. No, in 2005.
In 2005.
And then I hit the B. I said, B, Google who was president in 2005. Who was president?
Bush.
That's why I started back in the Bush.
It was Bush? That seems like a long time ago.
Let me see here. Where am I at? Okay, right here. Fear Not Farm says, and it also brings to the point that he clearly had a firearm the day he was kicking taillights and didn't get shot. So he was more egregious that day. Just justifying the use of force is crazy. He had a right to carry a gun and be at a protest.
He didn't pull his gun though, I thought.
I don't, of all the videos I watched, I do not think he pulled his gun. I have not seen any evidence to suggest he pulled his gun. In fact, I think the officer pulled his gun out of his holster for him. That's what I think. Now, something may come that changes my mind, but that's what I think. Brett, where is that energy with Kyle Rittenhouse? He was vindicated after shooting 3 people, killing 2 of them. Yeah, Rapid Coyote says shall not be infringed. Yeah, Dana Green says disgusted over it. Yeah, I'm completely disgusted over the Epstein thing. Let's see here. Fear Not Farm says, I'm all for secure borders, but whenever a wrong is done, it needs to be made right. Agreed. Trying to justify gun control and anti-gun rhetoric to justify your president's operation for politics. Fear Not Farm says the whole Epstein thing goes back to Pizzagate and Alex Jones trying to tell people that John Podesta, Obama, Huma Abberline, Hillary Clinton. Well, he's first suspected under the Bush administration.
Yeah,
but
that wasn't in 2005, I didn't think,
yeah,
though.
no, and the thing about that is this is what I don't understand about the
That
whole
was
thing.
20 years ago.
Is that if he was first suspected in the Bush administration and they were investigating him then, that means that the Bush administration, 2 Obama administrations, 1 Trump administration, 1 Biden administration, and 1 Trump administration had the chain of custody of the documents. So I'm pretty sure that Trump's not involved in the Epstein thing. And it's not for what you, probably not for the reasons you would think. Anything to do with what people are saying, because I think it's all a big scam and a lie. I don't believe what Trump's saying, and I don't believe what the other side's saying. None of that matters. It's that if there was something in those documents, they would have brought it out prior to this last election, and they didn't. So that leads me to believe that there wasn't anything there, unless all of a sudden. So anyway, then we don't want the records out. Then we do want the records out, and now all of a sudden his name's mentioned 38,000 times. I just don't buy it. It just seems to me like this is a big, gigantic scam. I don't even know if the whole Epstein thing is real.
What? You don't think that he was
I don't know, babe.
predator?
I don't know. I just don't know anymore. I mean, none of it. So a wise man once said to me that if you don't understand it, it's because you haven't identified the motive. This I agree with. And how is it that all of these 4 administrations, right? 1 Bush, 2 Obama, 1 Trump, 1 Biden, 1 Trump, have had this chain of custody the whole time and we haven't had any arrests? You know, it just seems to me like either they're all in it together, but then why would somebody like a guy like Trump, who I don't think is in it because they would have used it, why would he stand up? Why would he protect it?
Well, and if they knew
Just makes
about
no
it in
sense to me.
2005, how come he got to do his shenanigans for the next however many years? Like, how come?
See here, Packrat says, top of their lungs screaming, bullhorns, whistles used in these protests. They can't hear themselves think, much less de-escalate with the conversation. Well, except this is why you're the professional. This is the part I would argue with a lot of people right here, is that they go and they get trained, and they get trained to a high level to be able to deal with those things, because screaming at the top of your lungs is a protected speech. Sorry, people cannot like that. But the First Amendment talks about your right to free speech, and the Supreme Court has upheld that vulgarities, cussing, screaming are all part of protected speech.
I think as long as you don't threaten somebody.
So in the case of lung screaming, bullhorns, whistles, and protests, they can't hear themselves think. First of all, I agree with that, and I wouldn't want to be in that situation. And I would never put a bullhorn in a nice person's ear, and I wouldn't. And I actually think you might even be able to push that as assault. But I mean, I would never call them names. I just wouldn't. I think all protesting does is allow the deciders to go back and say, oh, look, democracy worked. People had a voice. So I'm kind of opposed to that all anyway. But I'm absolutely going to stand up for people's rights to scream and those kind of things, because, again, it's a protected right. I just keep wondering how in-depth of depravity became a viable response in any way. If true, there's a wood chipper for these sickos. Yeah, if anybody who is found guilty after due process is found guilty of anything to do with, innocence like that, there's no use in this planet for them, and you're not rehabilitating any of that. But again, I'm really just starting to question, is this just all a big keep us busy, keep us occupied, bread and circus, while a whole bunch of other things go along as they slowly slide in the new digital currency, because the dollar's worth 3 cents compared to what it was in 1920, and they've got to wreck the economy so we can get all of the debt out of the way, but we've got to bring in something big and horrible and all of these things. So we're going to bring in aliens, Epstein, World War III, and the Great Pandemic, and so that everyone will come begging us for some new system.
Good grief.
I mean, seriously, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I really.
Well, earthquakes and wasn't there a thing today that said like we had the more earthquakes than ever before or something?
I
Did
didn't
you see that?
Let's see here. I don't even know where I left off, guys. Here, let's see here. See, you thinking that Trump is not in it because the Democrats didn't bring it out, that's a flawed way of thinking. He's just the other wing to the bird. They aren't telling you half of what it is. That's why I said if that's not the case, then they're all in on it. Right? Because if it was truly a case of the Republicans versus the Democrats and they didn't bring it out, then there wasn't anything there. But if it's a case that they're all buddies and they make, they laugh at us as we be silly and fight each other as they sit behind and drink a beer, I buy that too, Let's see here. Gratitude Grace said espionage is what the outliers are saying. It's so hard to know. Yeah, Nito says it's a distraction. I'm beginning to wonder. Let me see the DNA research deep stuff. And Fear Not Farm says they haven't made any arrests because his name is Epstein. They wear tiny hats. they get away with everything. The entire planet is that they are running a dirt operation. Yeah, I think, and here's the crazy thing is, assuming that that's all true in the whole Epstein thing, and that they're just all in it together, and they've made this big ruse, then there's no fixing any of this, guys. There's no fixing it. There's zero chance. There's no amount of ballot box that's going to fix that situation there. The thing we could hope, the greatest hope there is of all, is that somebody's a good guy and somebody's a bad guy, right? But I mean, I'm vastly losing hope that any of that's true, because it just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, none of it lines up. It's how can you have people saying, a Republican, I'll pick on them for a minute. How can you have one Republican saying, it's time to move on from it. There's nothing in the files. There's nothing to see here. And a whole nother Republican saying, look, I seen these 6 names and it's horrific, and beef jerky, and they're eating people and they're eating babies and all of this great. I mean, and this is even inside the party, right?
Yeah.
American Roots Farm says they are all guilty. Yeah. They couldn't implicate him without outing themselves. Yeah. Who are they all protecting? Themselves for the love of fame and money and power. Right? Everybody is guilty to a certain extent, so it keeps everybody in check. It keeps the tiny hats controlling the politicians. I'm going to remember you used tiny hats. I really like that. I really, really like that. Oh, man, I hope I'm too far behind. Okay. There you go. Squatchy says the world is a coliseum. Yep. Yeah, Fear Not Farm says due process is a joke. Bill Gates has been exposed and he just gets another interview. There's no process. There's nothing due to him except privilege. Yeah, I chatted with Reality Survival a little bit today, and we were talking about this exact thing about it's 2 completely different sets of rules, for the different people, and there will never be any justice served, I think that there are just a handful of them that aren't guilty of it, but if they've been elected more than once, I think that they're compromised. I think that, I don't know if I totally agree with that, because there's some, and maybe it's just me just trying to have hope, in people like Massey, that he's been elected a bunch, and they say it won't happen anymore, that he's going to get primary, but I have hope there's got to be somebody good out there, because guys, none of this ends well. You have to be able to see that. Brett says it can't be that hard to trace the money and prove fraud in pros. Well, you wouldn't think so. I mean, they can tell you when, I spend $60 at, Home Depot and don't pay tax on it or whatever, right? I mean, they can track down what I owe, to a penny. Well, actually, they don't track it down. They make you track it down for them. Isn't that funny? I'm going to tax you and you have to tell me how much you owe. And if you're wrong, I can put you in jail.
Yeah.
That's insane. Insane. Okay, let's get back to it. It's an hour and 38. I'll get through a couple of the quotes from Epstein I thought were fascinating. Pam Bondi said, and again, this is, gotta remember, Trump said it's time to move on. The FBI said there's nothing there. Pam Bondi says that if we prosecute everybody in the Epstein files, the whole system will collapse.
Does she look different than she used to?
Did you see her whole testimony on? Did you watch any of those clips?
No.
Oh my God, what a shit show that was! It was I was not very impressed. You know, she every time they were would ask questions about Epstein or whatever, she would want to talk about how the stock market's at an all-time high, and you know, anyway.
Yeah, that's her job.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just absolutely insane to me.
She looks different though.
Yeah. Oh, one other thing I wanted to know, I don't know if you guys knew this. I did not know this until I was researching. Did you guys know Jeffrey Epstein won the Powerball in 2008? That's crazy. Okay, let's see here. Republicans just joined Democrats in hand the government a loaded weapon, quietly backing a bill that opens the door for digital ID for every American. It's called the Kids Off Social Media Act. But it doesn't just target kids, it targets you. And so obviously before I put it in my slideshow tonight, I looked it up and it is there, HR 7399, to prohibit users who are under the age of 13 from accessing social media platforms, to prohibit the use of personalized recommendation systems on individuals under the age of 17, and limit the use of social media in schools. And so this is real. They really do have this. But what's interesting about this is the question we should be asking is, how are they going to know whether or not they're underage? Now we're getting into biometrics, right? And so we're talking about, an eye scan, a face scan, a thumbprint, whatever it is. But that's not just for them. It works the same for you, because when you log on, they want to make sure you're not 13 either.
Oh, and you're checking theirs.
Right. And so at the end of the day, this is digital ID right here.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, it is. It absolutely is.
And you'll give your permission to get on there.
Yeah. Let me see here. Brett Boyd says they're not moving $60. It's millions. It's billions. I agree with you. What did George Carlin say? It's a big party and you're not invited. Yeah. Yep. The now and the dad's deck. That's what Americans want to hear about. Well, it depends on the American. It depends on what side are you on, right? Fear Not Farm says, but I'm telling you, things that are really there with this guy are much worse than anything that's been released. It's not just young women that have been manipulated into prostitution. Fear Not Farm, I don't doubt a single thing you're saying, but I don't have any firsthand knowledge of any of it. I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I subscribe to super left-wing stuff, super right-wing stuff. I try to get a good mix of it. And I'm telling you that it is so contradictory on so many levels inside of both parties. The Democrats infight, the Republicans infight. And I can't.
So what do you believe?
I don't have any idea. I don't have any idea. But I do know this, that if they pass this bill to limit access to social media to kids, that will bring on the digital ID. And I would oppose this. And you might say, man, but social media is bad for kids. I agree. And I wouldn't allow my kids, complete control to it. But we already have a system in place that will do this. It's called parenting. Right? I mean, why are we letting kids take their social media stuff to school?
So, yeah, well, some people, I think, like, even social media, you're supposed to be a certain age, and a lot of the kids are on there even though they're not of age,
American Root said, I went to apply for a trademark and they want to use biometrics to confirm your identity to apply. Oh yeah, if you guys try to build a new Facebook page, they want biometrics now.
So what do you have to give them?
A picture of you. You got to download a picture. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
They want to see what you look like.
Yep. Fear Not Farm says, I honestly think that what is being shown could totally be fabricated, because what these people were really doing was much worse. Yeah, I don't even know. Again, Fear Not Farm, I don't even know what to believe. It could be worse, but it could all just be a ruse too. It could all be something just to keep us, preoccupied. And if you told me that someday we would find out that Jeffrey Epstein never had any involvement in any of that stuff, I wouldn't be a bit surprised. And if you told me that the story was satanic temples and sacrificing babies every Wednesday, I would not be surprised.
And aliens?
That's what I'm saying. And yeah, and aliens helped assist in it. I mean,
You'd buy that too?
I would buy that too. Right. Facebook wants a video selfie with them telling you to turn your head, etc.
Turn your head so they can see like the
Yeah,
profile of your.
absolutely crazy. You guys, some of you guys are following the New York City Mayor Zoran. Some of the stuff that they're doing, I found it super interesting that they admit that he wants to hit white neighborhoods with higher taxes, which that'll be good,
Makes
right?
sense.
He says the city should not allow businesses to leave New York because of higher taxes. So if you try to leave New York, they're going to fine you prior to you being able to leave. Also says that illegal aliens will get universal taxpayer funded childcare. Remember, he said free buses, right? And that he's going to implement race based taxes in New York. So, depending upon your race, will dictate what kind of taxes you pay. That's going to end well, right? Let's see here. Fear Not Farm said, I made the mistake looking into Hillary Clinton, Huma Abedin.
Adrenochrome.
Yeah, video. This was before deepfake AI videos. Ripped the pineal gland from a live child and ate it. I don't want to see any of that. Yeah, I definitely know that there's evil out there, and I just doubt now that anything we're being shown is the truth. I don't know if you guys watch this on the whole immigration front, but they're putting up billboards at the Super Bowl like Defensive Player of the Year and put ICE up there. They arrested a New Orleans police recruit from Cameroon who had an active deportation order, but was serving as a police officer. How does that work? Somebody explain that to me. How do you get a job as a police officer with an active deportation order? I don't have any idea. That absolutely makes no sense to me. Also, do you guys notice all the kids that are now taking part in the protest? If there's a school or a teacher that takes kids out of the class to go protest, they should be fired immediately. They're there to learn. They're not there to pass on their beliefs to somebody else. They're there to bring out the beliefs of the child, right? I am not supportive of kids participating in these things in any way. If their parents want to take them, they can take them after school. Let's see here. American Rich Farm says California and New York are racing to see which state can suck worse. I've actually got some stuff about California in here. Do you know, I didn't put it in here. New York is also trying to ban all propane appliances. That'll be fun, right? What a mess. Let's see here. Oh, this one made me angry. Gina Perino, the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, on Monday threatened a jail time for anyone who enters Washington with a gun. Her remarks prompted swift pushback from the Republican Party's pro-Second Amendment wing. Again, this is the Republican Party, right? I mean, she serves on the administration. Trump himself has said, that we shouldn't have guns at a protest. The FBI director said we can't have guns at a protest. Guys, this is wrong. If they can dictate when you get to use your rights, they're not rights. I mean, this is not complicated to understand, right? I mean,
You say it so like final.
It is. This is what made our founders so brilliant, in my opinion, is when they set out, they said, hey, we're going to regulate the deciders, not the people.
Right.
A Second Amendment does not give you the right to bear arms. It affirms your right to bear arms. It says the government can infringe upon your right to bear arms, but it doesn't give them to you. The Constitution does not say you have the right to free speech. What it says is that the government cannot infringe upon your right to free speech. Those are very different things. Those are not the same thing, and those rights are absolute. I just don't get it. Let's see here. How much time do I got? Oh, I don't got a lot of time. Let's go through some of this stuff quick here, just so we're all on target. American mom had just died and their daughter was going through her paperwork. Her mom and dad paid roughly $1 million combined through Social Security through their lives. Her dad died before he could collect. Her mom only collected for 4 years, which is $32,000. They got back $128,000 combined out of Social Security, and they paid over $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Social Security is such a scam. I really wish they would just let us have our money, right? Instead of forcefully taking it from me. I mean, here's the thing: if it's got to come out of you forcefully, then there was no consent.
If they just take it,
Yeah. So
they
then,
take it before you even see it.
yeah, if it takes force to get you to comply, it probably is a bad idea. You know,
That's why when you get a job, you have to have your social security number and all their information so they can
yeah.
submit that.
Major Commissioner says 2 years in a row I got a raise, and both times my insurance company took the whole thing plus $217 a month. It's like they watch me get ahead and then pull me back. The worker breaks down how his paycheck goes up, but his take-home money goes down thanks to soaring insurance premiums. This is the thing I try to get across to our commissioners all the time. It's not just that taxes went up. So did the insurance premiums. So did the cost of food. So did the cost of
Trash.
everything, has gone up. Hakestraw 54 says the only way I would agree with taking away guns is if the military police give them up first. Yeah, it's just, we have to draw hard lines on this. And I know that just like in the Alex thing, everything that I seen of all the videos, I would say he wasn't a great guy. But it doesn't matter. You don't have to be a great guy, and by whom's definition to have your constitutional rights. You have to defend the other side, because it won't be long and some other administration will be in
Taking yours.
Right. We absolutely 100% have a right to be armed at a protest. There's no discussion. That's it. Now you can say that you wouldn't do it. You could say it's not proper. You could say it's a bad idea. You could say you're asking for trouble. I get all of that. And I actually agree with all that. Don't put yourself in a bad situation. However, he had the right to do it. And we absolutely need to be standing up for those rights. Let's see here. And I'm going to skip around a little bit just because we're, kind of closing in. But millions of Californians are furious after Democrat officials plan a tax on miles driven, ranging from $1,200 to over $4,000 per year on families, right? Could you imagine if you got an additional tax on just the miles you drove? So let's see how this could go wrong. So in order to make enough money to have a house, you got to work in the city, but the only house you can afford will be out of the city. So economics forces you to live a long ways away. And so then the state taxes you because you got to commute, right?
Mm-hmm. Hopefully it's not on a toll road.
Right. New Nashville HOA sparks outrage after banning residents from using a generator to heat their homes during a monster storm. After a winter storm, Fern Talia and her family have been without power. Inside their home, temperatures dropped to just 30 degrees Fahrenheit. To stay warm, they bought a $1,500 gas generator and ran heaters throughout their condo. Hours later, the HOA, Metropolitan Properties, demanded the generator be removed, citing fire hazards, threatening fines, and claimed it ruined the neighborhood's appearance.
I don't care if they're cold. They don't
Right.
want the appearance to look
Appearance. Right. That's right. And you could write a whole book on that little piece right there. I did a post the other day about the mice utopia experience. You know how the scientists back in 1968 started with 4 breeding pairs of mice. The colony went great till about day 300, and society kind of started to fall apart. And there was these particular mice who they called the beautiful ones, who they were males, just groomed themselves, didn't want to mate, pristine. All they cared about was image. Right? Here we are, the mice. Mo says armed and protesting is not the same as armed and obstructing justice. I totally agree. Obstructing is an action, right? And there's nothing to argue there. Hakestraw says your permit to carry is the Constitution, period. Yeah, okay. What else? Do I got anything else good in here? Let's see here. An American fought for the only home he could afford. It's 45 minutes from his job. That's the trade-off, just to own something. Then taxes and insurance jump an extra $1,000 a month, and now he can't afford the house he just bought. This isn't stability. It's a rigged game, he says. Did you guys know this? We're going to save the day. They found a solution for you guys. You can now use buy here, pay later for your rent. New companies allowing buy now, pay later as options where renters, where you can pay a fee or a monthly subscription if you miss a payment. Interest rates go way up. Pretty exciting. Packrat says that's why you never buy into another layer of privately funded government. Yeah, I wouldn't either.
HOA.
Armed and protested. I already read this one. It's not the same as obstructing justice. I agree. Did you put that in there twice, Mo, for emphasis? Because I agree with you.
He wanted you to say it.
I did both times. He got both of them. Right. Luke the Drifter, welcome in, says your rights are only as good as the one who granted them to you. If you deny a creator, then you deny rights granted by the creator. If everyone is God, anyone can decide the rights you don't have. This is actually a really good point. And I think there's some things that I could argue with this a little bit. I think you can say that your rights are rights given to you at birth. I mean, that not even given. That's a bad way to say that, right? That your rights are there, just a natural right from being a human. But I do agree that you pretty much have to agree that there's a creator if you're saying that your rights came from your creator. It's a good point. Where am I at here? I'll skip that one. Let's see. U.S. consumer spending is extremely concentrated in high-income households. This was interesting. Households in the top 20% of the income now reflect 39% of all the spending. So basically what that means is, the top 20% of the country is buying 40% of the goods. And so when you talk about the economy's going really, really well, the Dow's really high, all of that kind of stuff, car sales are picking back up. It's not really the whole story because, for example, nearly 8 out of 10 new vehicles are bought by the top 40% of households. So that means only 2 out of every 10 vehicles is bought in the bottom 60%, financially. So the top can be having a really good time financially or economic wise, but the bottom half, could really be struggling. Virginia Democrats introduced a bill that bans white men from getting government contracts. Virginia's a mess. I don't know if you guys have watched all the new stuff that they've got going on over there.
Is that the state that's doing all the new taxing?
Yep. We borrow $272 million every hour. We borrow $5.54 million every minute. We borrow over $75,000 a second. Senator Rand Paul's Festivus report points to trillions in government spending, including millions for COVID vaccine promotion and federally funded animal experience, which, by the way, you guys don't know this, they just funded the COVID emergency thing for a whole nother year. Trump just did. So that ought to make you super, super excited.
Emergency what?
Yeah.
Coverage?
Right. What's that?
Emergency vaccine coverage?
Well, they filed that state of emergency declaration for COVID, which gave them extra funded. They renewed it another year. So that must think that they still feel like part of that is coming back or just another great place to spend money.
Well, yeah, they worked so well the first time. We're going to just keep doing it.
Yeah. Now, I don't know why, guys, I come up here on Fridays and I got 30 more slides still in there, but putting it all together. But I think for me, the moral of the story is, how do you even know? And, maybe we should spend as much time as we possibly can just focused on the things we do know. We do know we can grow food.
Oh, I was just getting ready to say that.
Right? We know this. We know that we can produce our own water.
Mm-hmm.
We know that we can maintain our own things and we can grow our animals. We know we can build community. We know we can have real relationships with those people.
Yeah.
Right? And then just keep kind of a corner eye on what's going on everything else. That's what I try to do. I spend my Fridays in politics and the things that are going on, and the rest of the time trying to build my homestead and building community. What do you take from all that?
All that made sense. I think that I like that.
I meant from the whole conversation tonight.
Yeah, I agree.
About how you doing? You're still caught up on wiener rings, right?
No, I was already past that. Good grief. No, I agree. I don't think that, Donald Trump was president in 2005, This when you pulled that up and I went, wait a minute, no, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Perfect example right there. You can't believe everything that you see on the internet. So
I couldn't believe that when I asked who was president when Epstein was first suspected, it said Donald Trump. That's a complete lie.
Thought you were going to need to put even more details into for that.
No. I think it's just, again, 100% proof we're being lied to from every single angle. And we've got to try to find our own discernment. But good luck with that. The best thing we can do is try to control your local politics on a local level. Try to build community that'll help you get there. Right? Yeah. Because a whole bunch of people together can make a bunch of noise.
Well, it also gets you familiar with the people around you, too, when you're putting yourself out there.
Yep. Work really, really hard on growing food. I'd advise everybody to grow food like it matters this year. Because I'm going to tell you, this world is a mess.
Yeah.
And I don't see how in the world we're ever going to get out of this in some peaceful, productive way. I just don't see it anymore.
Well, the food that you're getting is not really the food you think you're getting anyway. So
I am if you grow it.
if you're, that's what I'm saying. If you
It's all
don't,
on
if
you.
it's not coming from you, then you have no idea what it is.
Yep. So you take responsibility for the food we eat?
I'm
It's a,
trying.
no, it's a yes or no question.
I'm trying.
Do you take responsibility for the food we eat? Yes or no?
Some. I can't stop you from, pulling over and getting
Okay.
something.
She wants to play word games. Here,
Word game
I'll ask the question differently.
from
Do-
from the word master.
Do you take responsibility for the food you feed me?
I don't like that one either.
Yes or no? I
No.
guess, guys, as we get out of here tonight, my parting words is take responsibility for your part. Take responsibility for whatever your role is in your marriage, in your homestead, in your whatever it is. Take responsibility from it and own that shit, and you'll provide yourself a better life. You'll provide your family a better life. What do you got to say?
Dilly dilly.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you guys in a week.
Be out.
You're such a